This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. So it's pretty apparent that Mike Pence is going to run for president. Pretty odd move, considering his hanging has been called for by Republicans. Pretty brazen. But my problem with it is not his hypocrisy or the lameness that is Mike Pence at his core. It is the complicity that we're witnessing with the media, who are just writing glowing headlines about, these aren't the words, but effectively what a patriot he is, and he's really scathing Donald Trump with his criticism. It's just not the case. I almost said Kevin McCarthy. He's another coward. Mike Pence is a self-interested ghoul. Mike Pence could have done the right thing. He could have stepped down as vice president of the United States following the insurrection. He could have supported the impeachment. He could have, at the very least, testified before the January 6th committee, but he refused. He saves all of his little barbs, subtle barbs, for little speeches that he gives, or op-eds that he writes, or interviews that he gives. And the media, they're here for it. The media is attempting to whitewash him and his legacy of being a doting sycophant for Donald Trump. Remember back in the day when he was vice president and he would stand behind Donald Trump and just gaze affectionately as Donald Trump would fumble his way through whatever message he was giving. When Donald Trump would have a water bottle on the desk and then drink from it and then put it down, and Mike Pence would drink from his and put it down on the ground. He was a bizarre, the reverence and worshipful attitude that he displayed on a daily basis as vice president of the United States. It went beyond his duty to the country. It became a duty to Donald Trump. And then in one weird moment, he bucked what Donald Trump wanted and didn't overturn the election. Didn't act in an anti-democratic, extra-constitutional manner. That a hero does not make. Here's the AP. Listen to this headline. Pence says Trump endangered my family on January 6th. This weekend was the Gridiron Dinner, which is a kind of a roast comedy dinner where politicians give speeches about one another in a tongue-in-cheek, funny way. They poke fun at one another in kind of a good-natured callback to decades ago when politics wasn't as toxic and caustic and gross as it is today. And at the end of his remarks, or somewhere in the middle of his remarks, when he wasn't yucking it up with his stupid jokes, he had some serious things to say about Donald Trump. Again, didn't tell the January 6th committee. He saved him for his book. He saved him for the campaign because he's not a patriot. But I'm going to read a little bit from this AP article talking about what he said, and then we'll, talk about his lack of heroism. Former Vice President Mike Pence on Saturday harshly criticized former President Donald Trump for his role in the January 6th riot at the United States Capitol, widening the rift between the two men as they prepare to battle over the Republican nomination in next year's election. Quote, President Trump was wrong, Pence said during remarks at the annual White Tie Gridiron Dinner attended by politicians and journalists. Quote, I had no right to overturn the election, and his reckless words endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol that day. And I know history will hold Donald Trump accountable. History, huh, Mikey boy? History should judge Donald Trump? How about a court of law? That is who we should see fit to judge Donald Trump, to hold Donald Trump accountable, to issue consequences legal of Donald Trump. Not history. History certainly will be a judge of Donald Trump. It already is in action. But for you to act like that's the metric of consequence that is deserved here when he attempted to overthrow the government. A failed coup was undertaken by his supporters at his behest. attempting to overturn a free and fair, settled American election. But history will hold Donald Trump accountable, Mike Pence says. Pence's remarks were the sharpest condemnation yet from the once loyal lieutenant who has often shied away from confronting his former boss. Trump has already declared his candidacy. Pence has not, but he's been laying the groundwork to run. With his remarks, Pence solidified his place in the broader debate within the Republican Party over how to view the attack. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, for example, recently provided Tucker Carlson with an archive of security camera footage from January 6th, which the Fox News host used to downplay the day's events and promote conspiracy theories. Again, from Pence here, quote, "Make no mistake about it, what happened that day was a disgrace," Pence said in his Gridiron Dinner remarks, "and it mocks decency to portray it any other way." Mike Pence is a coward. Mike Pence does not rate any serious write-up about his attacks of Donald Trump. For Mike Pence to act like, oh, he endangered my family, and then do nothing about it when it's in his power to give the facts of what took place that day is just rank grossness. It's hypocrisy. It falls on deaf ears, but it falls flat. If you did endanger your family, Mike Pence, do you care less about your family and about the health and well-being and continued existence of our country more than you do about your particular political situation and running for office? Because the two things cannot coexist. You can't really truly care about the country and not try to hold Donald Trump accountable. To leave him to operate unfettered, to do what he did again, except this time he had a practice run, and they can learn from the mistakes they made. Mike Pence is no hero. Mike Pence is not honorable. And Mike Pence does not deserve the laudatory language that's being thrown his way in the form of press releases, practically, and from the AP. No less, a pretty straight shooter down the middle media operation. It's too much. It's too much. This isn't for clicks. Mike Pence, one, does not deserve the presidency, and it's a fool's errand to try to convince MAGA voters, the same voters who were screaming, "Hang Mike Pence," with an erected hangman's gallows, but 1,000 feet from where they stood. But a few hundred more feet from where he was. Anyway, what do you think about this? I'd love to know. You can call. Leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. I'm always there. Always on duty on the Twitter. At Dollemore. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you appreciate what I do and you want to help support my work, join the YouTube channel membership family. Click the join button below. See what's involved. For $2 a month, you can become a channel member. Or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love you guys. I will see you next time. Until I do, be less like Mike Pence. Be genuine. Take care of one another.